Welcome to the Umana Experience podcast. This is the second episode of the Umana Experience, and today I'm thrilled to be talking with Anne. Anne is a client based in the UK who has had 2 distant healing sessions and is also a fellow Pelua teacher and practitioner. As someone deeply familiar with Kachina Ma'an's extraordinary work, Anne brings a unique perspective to our conversation. Anne, it is such a pleasure to have you here.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, for including me in this. And I'm really, really excited to impart maybe my useful, not so useful points of view. So, yes, thank you for having me, Rachel.
Wonderful. When you first heard about Umana, what attracted you to it? As you read more about it, what excited you and made you feel like you had to experience a session for yourself?
As you added earlier, I'm a Palawa teacher and I'm based in the UK, live in the UK. And Palawa absolutely changed the direction that my life was going in. So when I saw the name Umana, I just knew, knowing that it was from Kachina, I knew it stopped me in my tracks and sort of went, okay, I can't look at anything else right now apart from find out what this is going to be all about. Need more information and I need it immediately. And this activating of the new meridian system again. So I just knew at that point that it had to be done and I had to be involved in this somehow.
Would you say you felt an incredible pull towards it, that it was something that was like a magnet and you just knew that this was something for you? You knew this was something you had to be a part of. You were meant to be a part of.
Absolutely. It just felt like it was the next step that I didn't know I was waiting for. It was like, oh
Mm.
right, okay, this is the direction I'm going in. And it's of my awakening and connecting to my higher consciousness and that expanding absolutely even more. It's my conscious awakening.
You've had both a 30-minute and a 60-minute Humana session remotely. How did the experience of each differ for you in terms of depth, connection, or results?
Difference in length and volume of information. Like I suppose if you read for an hour, you get more information than reading for 30 minutes. That's kind of what it was like for me. So it wasn't different. I didn't get different energy or a different amount of feeling from it. It wasn't less powerful because it was shorter. It was just different in the amounts of information that I gained from that time. So the experience was the same. It was just as profound, just as powerful. I suppose the 30-minute one, I was up and about quicker, back into my schedule. But that's it. That's the only difference in the two.
It's so interesting. So that's exactly how I would say it as well. You're getting this incredible tune up. I'm noticing people are responding straight away when the session
Yeah,
is over. And it's kind of like a little lunch break tune up. And then they're just getting on with their day. But everyone is saying very similar things that they feel just amazing. So it has this incredible, beautiful rejuvenation. You can do it so quickly, but the effect and impact is so profound and beautiful and enjoyable.
it's
It's going to be complicated to sit for 60 minutes, I think, without moving. But in 30 minutes, you could easily just sit in your chair. So if you were at a desk or anything like that, or in a park, you could sit in a park and receive a distant Yemena session. How beautiful would that be?
it would be like a lunchtime meditation. Yeah, go and find an empty seat in a park. A quiet space that you know that you're in tune with. And well, I might try that. You've just given me an idea. I want 30 minutes in a park, please.
Isn't that lovely? It is a
Yeah.
lovely idea. And it's not something that you would necessarily do in person with someone, but via distant healing, you can be anywhere. You can be in the most beautiful, incredible locations. And if you're just sitting somewhere then peacefully, it would just be absolutely amazing.
That's an experiment in the making. That
That is
it
a
is
massive
absolutely.
experiment.
Can I book in for that? Yeah, get your diary ready.
You could sit in front of the lake. Is it the lake that's near your house?
It is a river. It's the River Mersey and the Liverpool skyline and lots of ships and things like that. So
You could sit
Yes,
there as well
I
on the
could sit there.
promenade.
Absolutely, absolutely. If you're out in one of your favourite spaces, one of your sacred spaces, which, being on the promenade for me is, then I just like envisaging how beautiful that experience would be and how much more flow there would be because you are in a place of maybe a place that you go to meditate. I know people that have their favorite tree that they'll go and sit under to do a meditation, their favorite sort of like quiet space. Imagine doing it in that space.
Oh, magic, magic. And the sensory experience that goes along with that, and even the influence of the type of messages or sensations or visualizations you're having. I wonder, like, what kind of impact that has on where you are in terms of nature. Because you mentioned something so important before. Oftentimes, if we're at home, some people find it difficult to switch off and just clear their mind because you are thinking about a phone call that you have to return, or these mundane kind of tasks that we need to do. And it's not saying that it's not good to do this at home. It's absolutely beautiful to lie in your bed all comfortable and cozy and warm. It's wonderful. But it's also nice, as you were saying, to get out of your own space and be in these sacred locations. I can't wait to hear how different the experience is depending on that environment. That's exciting, really exciting.
I think it also depends on the person because we all learn, we all flow differently
Mm.
in different situations. And, in my own home, in my own bed, is absolutely my preference, always has been, to just. But to have that freedom to sort of be myself. So yes, it is a wonderful experience and I've never thought of, going somewhere else because I think of going to somebody's office or going to somebody's workspace to have this done in person. And that's never totally sort of fit with what I want this whole sort of experience to be like because you don't know what you're going to encounter on the way there, traffic. And I always do feel relaxed after, even though this energizes me, there's a kind of calm that comes over me. And I kind of don't want that to be spoiled by driving home. And again, encountering probably my luck, rush hour, and having little bits of that taken away. But the main thing for me is being able to sit immediately and record what's happened. So to either journal it, to because again, sometimes you forget. So if you were to get a phone call immediately after a session and someone talks to you about, I don't know, your bank account or your mortgage, those beautiful images can kind of evaporate. If you
Hmm.
didn't sort of have that time to sit and take in what's just happened and mentally record or record by writing, I think it's part of this is giving yourself the time to integrate these feelings, to integrate this information that comes through and let it settle. So as we shift our consciousness, these things are coming to light and they're coming back to light, being hidden for such a long time. It's important that we give ourselves the time and space to do that. Absolutely.
I agree. While we were talking about this, two beautiful things just came to my mind. And because now that we're talking about experimenting, I'm getting excited. Two things. One, imagine being in a body of water. Oh my God, like in a bath or in the ocean or a lake or something. Two, imagine trekking and going for a hike somewhere gorgeous, sitting on top of a mountain, and then your Umana session. You could do that in person or distant.
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness, I've got little dancing cells inside of me trying to jump out of my body right now. This is so exciting.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
absolutely. Absolutely. There's an infinite amount of things that we can develop.
Mm,
Absolutely. I mean, this is the very beginning of a whole new chapter in energy healing, isn't it?
yeah.
It's you are hugely more experienced that I've had two sessions so far and heard about it and read about it, but you're there, you've received it, you've become a practitioner in it. Your journey is I would say, threefold of what mine is so far. But it's the beginning of the journey.
Mm.
And I think with consciousness, I think it's always the beginning of the journey, because for anybody's consciousness, for anybody having this, it's like a whole new chapter starting over and over. And I think the more that open, the more people who experience this, it's just not only adding to their consciousness, but also yours, but everybody that's connected around you and that person as well is going to experience some of that shift. And it's going back to that word, the evolution.
Mm.
This is energy healing of consciousness evolving, and evolving massively.
Absolutely. Evolving massively, and also the connection to divinity, to divine wisdom, is just exponential and on a whole new level that we've just not experienced before. And as you said before, we're just at the start of that journey. We
Yeah.
don't even fully understand a tiny pinhole of what is available to us and this beautiful journey that we're going to be on.
I think that when we say healing may be a byproduct of this, that's how that works. Those things melt away because they don't concern us anymore, because there's much more important things that we should be focusing on within our lives.
You start to think about such different things that you used to care about just fade away and just suddenly don't feel so important. The deeper meaning of things start to present themselves to you and start to take your interest. And it's not even a manual thing. It just suddenly happens where something that you used to care about, or something that you used to be interested in, that's rather trivial, just doesn't seem all that appealing anymore. And the byproduct of healing, I think, is a really interesting one that possibly people might not necessarily understand. So, a byproduct essentially means that we're not going to Umana or Pelawa or any of those kind of advanced energy medicine modalities with a specific issue in mind that you want to resolve. You can certainly set an intention, but Umana and Pelawa will do what it needs to do. You just need to be open to whatever you need is what you will receive in that moment. So it's about trust. The healing that happens as a byproduct, I find that as you evolve, certain thought processes, certain behaviors, certain patterns that may have attracted a certain health issue, for example, no longer applies. You no longer have that issue because you're no longer thinking in those stuck patterns. A lot of those issues that you were holding on to, those behaviors, those thought patterns, have evaporated because that's part of the consciousness level you were at. And now that you're no longer there, you're just no longer thinking in that way.
Most definitely, most definitely. And for me, it's also very fast at integrating. I didn't ask any questions or set any intentions, so there wasn't. I went into it quite openly, and not saying, "Oh, okay, I want this session to do this." So I didn't set those intentions before the session, but it almost prioritized information that I required to take immediate action on within my life. It was really, really practical information. It was creative, and I'm not a creative person. I actually run from creativity. It's not one of my passions. It was delivered to me in pictures, and then thoughts where you need to do this and you need to do this, and it was really simple. It wasn't complicated in any way, and they were all things that I'd been thinking of in the run up to having this session. I need to just take action on these things, and I was really energized to take that action immediately. And it almost like thrust me into action. And so I did what it told me to. And the results were absolutely amazing for me. They were absolutely immediate. Putting those things into action and being in control of that over the next few days of having my first session, I absolutely, and it wasn't just a feeling, I was saying this out loud. I feel like a brand new person. I feel like the person that I kind of have always wished that I could be. I do get inspired, I do get ideas, but I really procrastinate a lot myself. And I torture myself with, should I do this? Should I not? will it work? Oh, I don't want to fail. But I took action and I've had, as I say, the most immediate results that I could possibly dream about. And things are moving so quickly for me and so excitingly for me. It's like I've waited all this time for this to happen. I've waited, I will say my age, I've waited 54 years for this to be delivered to me. And it's really helped me believe in myself. I think fully for the first time in trusting myself, trusting my own intuition and creativity. I dare I say that I'm becoming creative. And all I keep returning to is that I am like a brand new person.
A brand new person who steps onto a path of their purpose and their mission exceptionally fast. That's what I find. It is like an incredible catapult to everything, all the aspects, people, resources, places, tools, skills, learning, everything you need just is a magnet towards you. And as you said before, so much changes so quickly.
Yes,
It's
yes.
incredible.
But you have to take action
Of course.
because
Yes.
you can't experience this and go, okay, I'm just going to sit and I'm going to wait.
Oh God, no.
You have to take the action, but your action you need to trust is right. The action you take, the feelings you have, the thoughts you have, they are right for you and they are right now. And take that action now because I think none of this would have happened if I hadn't have gone, okay, I'm doing that right now. Because yeah, if I'd have sat on it and procrastinated on it like I usually do, I'd have got the results that I usually get, which, oh, that was a really good idea, but it didn't happen because I didn't make it happen. So yes, it's can't be standalone. It's not a magic recipe for
Gosh, no.
for changing your life. It's a magic recipe for you changing your life.
Yes, absolutely. Having the confidence, abilities, insight to take action and to listen to the very subtle nudges because not every bit of information is profoundly strong and we're very distracted at the moment. There's a lot going on for everyone. So it's crucial that even the whisper you act on and then you realize, okay, I really need to pay attention because that constant communication with the universe is key to moving forward and continuously taking action. It's a beautiful joint effort, I find for me, is just a crucial component of moving forward in a positive way and staying on track. Is that relationship of listening and responding and doing. Do you have a similar experience?
Yes, and you're going to like this one. But from the 30-minute session, the second session that we had, some of your feedback to me, which matched my sort of realizations in that, were to not go down complicated. Right, if it was complicated, it wasn't the right road. And I think in that procrastination, that decision making, no, if it has resistance, no, it's not for me. It will flow and it will flow easily if it's right. And I've had a few things sort of show themselves, but also then your feedback reflected very similarly. And you said that you saw a path and that the steps in front of me were lighting up. They will light up to show me the right way to go. And at the time, and I didn't mention this to you, at the time, that reminded me of the Billie Jean video for Michael Jackson, where he's dancing and he's on like a sidewalk or a pavement, I don't know what you call it, and the slab stones were lighting up as he stepped on them to dance. And I thought that was quite fun. I was like, okay, that's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for these things to light up. I dealt with a lot of stuff this week. And it was about I was letting the complicated stuff go. I'd really consciously said, okay, well, what's going on for me? These things are complicated, these things are not. That's the path that I'm going down. I'm going to go down the non-complicated path. And I removed quite a few things from my past. And after doing the final few things one day this week, I was driving home and Billie Jean came on the radio on my way home. And I just thought, I haven't heard that song. Even though I thought of it, I haven't heard that song played on the radio for years. And I thanked the I went, thank you very much for that little bit of a sign to say I did the right thing today. My path lit up and I've gone the right way. And as I say, immediately it was on the journey home from doing these things, I was given that sign. You what you walked the path you were supposed to, and it was joyful, and as I say, absolutely full of gratitude to myself that I'd done the right thing for me. And that is what I'm finding, is that these are the things that are right for me to continue my path moving forward. It will be for the greater good of other people, for those who are in contact with me, for those in my family, for my friends, for me becoming the person I need to be is going to be of benefit to other people as well. And that's where we get that wave, that ripple. And so yes, so my new theme tune is Billie Jean.
I love that. I love that so much. They're so funny sometimes, aren't they? When you're working hard with them and you have this constant little communication going, and gosh, communication can come from everywhere, exactly like a song coming on. It's as you said, it brings you so much joy. It's so joyful. It's just, oh, like a little kid in a candy store. You're like, yes, I did it. I did it right. I'm getting
Absolutely,
validation
yeah.
and all these wonderful signs that they give you. But the more that you pay attention and the more that you keep this beautiful teamwork going, the more amazing messages that you get. And you never get used to it. It never gets old. You never don't stop and say, thank you so much. I'm so grateful. You never not have a smile when something beautiful happens where you know they're just saying, I'm here, or validation, or pay attention, whatever it is. It's always an honor and a pleasure to hear from them in any funny way that they come up with, and they can be funny sometimes.
Absolutely, it is. It's like joy, but it's just this brand new collaboration that I seem to have developed with the divine, with spirit. It's kind of, oh yeah, I always knew you were there, but now we're on speaking terms, which is fabulous. So yeah, it's a huge development for me,
You
most
know what?
definitely.
It's the way you've just said it. Something just came to my mind straight away of how to explain that. It is like you are suddenly tuned in. If you're flipping through a radio and it's all these difficult things and you can't quite catch a station, it's all noisy and it all sounds incomprehensible. You can't really understand. With Umana, you can all of a sudden switch that dial and tune in, and then you're hearing them and they're hearing you. It's like a two-way radio. All of a sudden, it just perfectly lines up and opens that communication channel seamlessly. You can just hear, see, know, feel things, and information comes at you from so many different ways. It is just amazing. It's like you're coming online all of a sudden.
It's most definitely frequency, and I talk about frequency and vibration in exactly the way you've just described. When people say, "What do you mean by vibration? What do you mean by your frequency?" And you've just described how I try my best to explain it to people, that you need to be on a certain frequency or vibration to have these things come into you. It's a bit like magnets. So magnets will either repel or attract, but
Mm.
they've got to be placed the right way round, because that's what energy does. It repels or it attracts. And you're saying it absolutely right, that Umana has literally given me the dial code to tune into. It's like, okay, no, well, you need to tune it into this station, and that's when this will happen. And that's exactly what's happened. We've been given the radio frequency of how we need to be communicating with our consciousness.
Can you describe what the Humana session felt like during the experience? Were there any unexpected sensations or realizations that surprised you compared to other energy based sessions?
When you told me not to move, I didn't see the full gravity of that instruction. I knew that I shouldn't get up from my, other training, particularly Palawa perspective, but I literally couldn't have gotten up. I could have if I'd have had to. So if it was an emergency, no, I wasn't paralyzed. But the energy held me in that position, and I couldn't move. Not in a displeasurable experience, but it was like the energy held me still, like I suppose I was having a medical procedure.
Mm.
Is what it was like. No, you can't move because you need to be in this one place for this to process through your body properly. So it sort of it held me still, but I could feel. So I was mobile, but I could feel the energy passing through parts of my body, creating different sensations depending on where it went to. Now, I'm quite knowledgeable about the meridian system and how it connects very obscure parts of the body to other parts of the body. It doesn't sort of process from like head to toe. So that's how it felt, like it was traveling really, really obscurely through my body, going to where it needed, rather than doing that progression from head to toe. It wasn't normal sometimes. Sometimes I feel my chakras unblock, activate. I can say it made my heart beat faster. It opened up my heart chakra. It opened up my crown. I got sensations on the top of my head. It wasn't like that, where I can identify what's been done, but it felt like it was a complete mystery to what it had done to me, to my body. It was something unknown to me, completely new, and yet I don't have any frame of reference for that, because I think that is going to come um, because I am going to learn this. It's going to come when I learn it. But yeah, absolute mystery. But I could feel it happening. It wasn't like a normal healing when I can go, okay, your hands are over my head, they're over my heart. There was none of that going on. There was no intuitively knowing, but it was very separate from the things that I thought and saw as well. It was like there were two procedures going on at the same. So things were going on in my body, and that was helping me unlock these images that came through in my mind.
Did you fall asleep at all in your first 60-minute session?
In the first one, yes, but I felt it stop. I think I remember saying to you that I heard a noise that I had never heard before, that sounded like something electric ending, like a boom sort of. It was quite a strange noise, but yes, I did. But that woke me up at the end. So I think I
Amazing.
did drift off and go a bit dreamy. Whereas the second one, no, I didn't fall asleep.
It's amazing. And it will be different each and every time. No two experiences will ever be the same. When I fall asleep though, I don't ever wake up feeling tired or
No,
groggy. It's more that I've probably gone off and I feel sometimes like I've just lived another lifetime somewhere and I'm coming back going, oh, okay, this is where I am. It's just adjusting to coming back into the room. But it's such a journey. It's such an incredible journey. In 60 minutes, so much can happen. It's beautiful, Umana. Really, really beautiful.
absolutely. And I think it's almost like you're having. I think when we fall asleep, maybe we're having an out of body thing experience. I think we're sort of lifting out of the body, so the body's falling asleep, but the imagery isn't. I think
True.
that's kind of how I see it, and I've always believed that when we do have resistance, that is when we fall asleep, because it says if this person stays awake, they're going to fight this, and they're going to go, no, no, that's no, that's not the way I see it. Boom, they're asleep, and they have no ability to sort of like resist what they're being shown.
Yeah,
And it's the doubt. The falling asleep takes away our ability to doubt. We just dream it. We just see it.
absolutely. Absolutely. And sometimes the energy is so high that you do just lose consciousness and you
Yes.
come kind of in and out floating. It's an incredible experience, that's for sure.
Most definitely, most definitely.
Of Umana have impacted your life in ways that you hadn't experienced before. Can you share any specific examples of how it's been a catalyst for change in your personal or spiritual growth?
Where do I start? I start with vitality and energy, and it's given me great vitality and energy, and a huge amount of excitement for the future, which I've struggled with all my life. Sort of trusting myself and struggling to get through day to day, week to week. So to be so excited about the future and so excited about this is all going to be okay because I know it's going to be okay now. It's put that in for me. I see so much more clearly. I'm getting to my goals so much. I'm just thinking of something. Okay, do it this way, and boom, it's done. This stuff is happening absolutely immediately. It's taken away a lot of my overthinking and self doubt about every aspect of my life. Um, I talked about rebranding earlier on since, and this is only 5 weeks ago that I had this first session. I've rebranded and started a new page. I've had a new website design put into action. That's now going on. Purchased domain names and that sort of thing. I immediately got new clients for the stuff that I'm already doing. So before we had the first session, I had a message from someone trying to book onto one of my Pellower workshops. When I came out of that session, I had another message with somebody different booking on to the same course. So that happened immediately. It feels like it's pushing me forward, and the timing for everything that has been happening has been absolutely perfect. The synchronicities, I can be thinking of something and someone will contact me with the same idea, or things are just, the word is flow. Things are flow. It's like somebody's removed the dam and the water is flowing freely. If I do see a problem, I think it through, maybe get a second opinion, but then the following day, the entire, so I'll sort of not take action immediately on problems. Usually, I'm a quick reactor. So I've not been reacting and I'll think it through, maybe speak to somebody. And then what is happening is the following day, I wake up and the issue has resolved itself without me having to play any part in it. So it's difficult to sort of give examples of that, but it's like the universe just removes it for me. And it's not there for me to worry about anymore. It's like, oh, okay, don't need to deal with that one. So I'm not really ruminating over things anymore because they're not there to ruminate over. They're being removed from my path. I say them out loud. So rather than internalizing things, I'm saying them out loud to myself, maybe to trusted people. And literally the next day, everything shifts. So the saying out loud is creating the action without me having to participate in it. And that is possibly one of the most magical things that I've ever encountered because I suffer and torture myself for weeks and months over things because I don't like confrontation. And just say it out loud and it resolves. It's being listened to. That's the magical part of it.
That's amazing.
So when I say this is life changing, it is, I don't say it lightly.
Yeah.
I'm not imagining this stuff. It's just speak it out loud, speak your truth. And it's boom, it's gone, it's dealt with.
How would you compare this experience to in person treatments? Were you able to feel the energy just as strongly, or did the remote nature bring any unique benefits?
But I absolutely adore remote sessions, whether I receive them or as a practitioner. I love the freedom that it gives me to have no distractions, to fully immerse myself in facilitating or receiving an energy session. I think as a practitioner, about without fear of making a noise, bumping into something. So those sessions where I'm fully immersed are so successful. I'm a really big believer sometimes that remote is sometimes it's best for me anyway. Other people have their own preferences, and receiving remotely is always a luxury for me in my own safe space. No traveling, no thing. We discussed all this earlier. No traveling, no things in my way. Just absolutely simple and effective. It's all of those things, and just to have discussed the possibility of doing that in, like, a new space, a sacred space, that's just opened up a whole new set of possibilities of making remote sessions even better. I think
Mm.
how can things get better? They always can. We just don't comprehend that it is possible.
I agree. I have quite a strong soft spot and a preference for remote sessions. I just think, in terms of being able to be fully immersed with no distractions on both sides, being able to
Yes.
set things up the way you want them to be, and just to have that privacy is just amazing. And I mean, it goes for both. There's beautiful things in person, and there's beautiful things in remote. But I do love remote sessions. I think it's a really beautiful way to be immersed in any kind of energy work, is just to have that separation, and it just adds a different dimension to the experience.
I think it adds to the magic of that experience as well, because we can connect with anybody doing this remotely. I'm not even going to venture a guess on my geography about how many miles apart we are. That just counts me out of working with you if there wasn't remote healing. So the object of the remote is the things that we've just talked about, but also the ability to connect with existentially so many more people wherever they are in the world. We're not just talking about our own localities, which we get very stuck in. We can do these things late at night, early in the morning. It just opens up all the possibilities even further. So it's the most accessible type of healing that we can be doing, is if we're doing it remotely.
It's so, so true. So, in the last couple of weeks, I've done a session for someone in Madagascar, Bolivia, Croatia, US, UK. Not so exciting, not compared to some of these
UK
more
is so exciting.
exotic locations where
No,
you wouldn't.
you have me at Madagascar.
Yeah, I mean, it's just absolutely amazing. It's so wonderful to be able to reach people at all corners of the world. And I have this
Yes,
thing at the moment where I'm on a mission to facilitate a session for someone in Antarctica.
can't wait.
And I think I know to who too.
Oh wow,
I just love the fact that in all of these incredible places where you would never normally have the possibility of being able to connect in that way, and
yes,
being able to offer this incredible modality, that people everywhere can experience it.
most definitely. It's just making the world smaller for us so that we can connect to everybody. Because again, some people can't access locations, whether that's physically, mentally. It needs to be done remotely, and absolutely, it's my favourite way to do things, because it just makes things so much simpler. And it most definitely the way forward for me is remote.
For someone who is new to energy work or looking to experience Umana for the first time, how would you describe what they can expect both during the session and in the days following?
And this is a difficult one, because I find it with Umana, I also find it with Pelawa, is that I'm not sure you can always advise somebody what to expect,
Mm.
because our experiences are all so unique. That's the beauty of consciousness, that expect to get something that you need right now, and be uplifted and enlightened by that experience, to move forward. And that is what I would say to people. Just be ready to listen, to see, to remember, and to take action on.
That is a truly excellent answer, because to go in, and we use this word again, expectation, if you go in with an intention, not that it's not okay to go in with an intention, you absolutely can, but to go in fixated that it has to be this intention and that you have this expectation attached to it is missing the point of this type of energy work. The need to just go in with complete openness and trust and know that whatever it is that you need, which is far beyond our intelligence to comprehend or understand, only until after it happens. And then you can say, okay, I can see exactly why they did that. Of course, that's what I needed. But they are much more intelligent and have a much greater viewpoint than we have. To go into these sessions with complete trust and openness and just know that you will receive whatever it is that you need to, with whatever you're able to transform, whatever you're capable of shifting in that time, that is exactly what you will do, not necessarily what you're hoping to achieve. So, removing all expectation is the key, really, to this kind of energy work, is that we are all completely different. We will all have vastly different experiences, and you can feel absolutely nothing or something, and both experiences are completely normal. There's no wrong experience.
And correct. They
Yeah.
are the correct experiences.
Any expectation of any visual imagery or any messages or insight, that's not going to happen every session either.
No.
The experience and what the energy is doing is two different things. And sometimes the communication is what the energy is doing, not any specific messages that they have. So, again, it's this being completely open and just being excited for whatever it is that you're going to experience, even if it's falling asleep. As you said before, they're all correct. Everything is
Yeah,
correct.
it's never wrong. Absolutely. It's what we need right in that moment. Tension or the expectation should be give me what I need.
Yeah.
I'm open to receiving what I need is the perfect intention for this.
Looking forward, how do you see Umana continuing to play a role in your life? Are there specific areas of your life or growth that you feel Umana can continue to support in ways other modalities haven't?
Okay. This is where my excitement comes out, and I think you know some of the answers to this one already.
I
So
do.
I can't wait. Right, Iman, and this happened with Palawa. I can't wait to be able to learn how to do this. This is going to become part of my, not just change my, but become part of my life. So I can't wait to be able to learn this and facilitate this for others. I am also going to be teaching it to others, which and bring it back to the UK. I just can't wait. I've witnessed the life changes of people, um, or that have discovered Palawa and its energy. This is going to take people to the absolute next level. It is, you know, it's going to activate personal evolution in so many people. I want to support that wave of awakening over the globe. We're at such a difficult, messy, confusing stage in the world that we need to hold space for each other, and every person, as more and more of them are actually awakening spiritually. This is such an important tool to assist that navigation into the future for everyone, for you, for me, and for those who follow. It's like having a sat nav for our lives. This is what the way I see Umana. This is what it's doing for me. I'm putting in a destination. I'm thinking of a destination, and it's showing me the way to get there. It's showing me the route. That's what I see it as being for me. It's like a divine satellite navigation app in my head, not on my phone, away from my phone, for my life as it continues to evolve from this dimension into the next. It's big time, it's big energies, it's big awakening, and I think Umana is here just in time to assist with that, and I'm desperate to be part of it. I can't wait. I can't wait so much. And here's my massive news: is that I'm coming over to Australia to learn this, to learn how to be a practitioner, to learn how to be a teacher. And I'm ready. I'm ready to, get this over to the UK and join in the army of spiritual warriors. Can't wait. So excited. So excited.
It is exciting. So, you and I will be in the very first teachers class together in mid February next year. We will be taking Umana to all corners of the world, to as many places and people as possible, where anyone who's interested can learn to become a Umana practitioner. And not always are you learning Umana or any practitioner level course to become a practitioner. There's so many benefits and there's so many advantages to learning a course like this in terms of what it can do for your life.
I think it's really important to know that the majority of people who learn to be both practitioners and teachers of this type of energy do not pursue a career in being a practitioner or being a teacher. They do it purely for the upgrade,
Mm.
the stronger connection, and the fact that they then have the access to other Umana practitioners that they can have, then it increases their options of being able to receive it on a more regular basis, and they see it as part of their spiritual awakening. I don't know the percentages, but then a certain amount of people do go on to become practitioners, and they almost are the front line of introducing this energy into a whole new section of people. And then practitioners then get to the point where they feel, okay, well, I'm ready. I'm being told I'm ready for maybe another upgrade, maybe to see the next step. And that's when they go on to the level of being a teacher. I trained in other things, Palawa, at the same time as a huge amount of other people, but only about, I'm thinking, not even 25% of those people went on to become teachers. Not because they can't, because that's not why they did it. They did it for their own advancement, for their own ascension, leveling up, and abilities to move forward in their own lives. These things help us excel in what we are supposed to do. Not everybody is supposed to be a practitioner or a teacher. There are a few of us that are, because we'd never get this around the world if that wasn't on our path. I know that is for me. It was the same with Palawa. I know already it's the same with Umana, but the majority of people will take the upgrade into their life and then excel at what they are supposed to be excelling at, because we're not all here to do the same job, and that will continue.
How these levels support us in our own evolution, our own personal development is amazing. And these are all tools that enhance our life. You don't have to be totally immersed in a spiritual community or a spiritual world to benefit from them either. There's some of us who this is what we do. We live and breathe 24 hours a day. But as you said, we're on the front line. And we're on the front
Yes.
line because it's our job and our role to help educate on what this tool and other tools like it are and what the advantages are. We all have a role to take. But for the majority of people, it's incorporating these incredibly advanced tools that are at your disposal to help you within your personal life without you needing to completely change your life to be
Yes.
something else. So that's what I love the most is there's so much incredible practical advancements that we've been talking about in terms of the clarity, the feeling balanced, the mental agility, the centeredness, the problem solving, the incredibly sophisticated problem solving
Yeah.
capabilities that come online. All of these are very, very practical and helpful tools for people in everyday life. It's not about making you more spiritual or more knowledgeable about spiritual topics. It's actually helping you within your own current life achieve a level that you would not necessarily be able to, and also be able to do that in a relatively short space of time. So that's an incredibly exciting aspect to what we're both going to be able to do to teach, and all the amazing students and people who are going to come and join us in our little Umana communities, and the reason and the purpose that they're coming to learn it. So, and I can't wait to see Umana develop and unfold, and I can't wait to see Umana expressed in so many different people, and all of the amazing insights that we have, and that we start to learn and truly understand what this amazing tool can do and can help us with. It's the more of us that are in this Umana community, the more this science experiment just evolves, to new heights. So it's amazing. It's exciting.
It is. It is. It's the next step. Absolutely the next step. And it's such an honour to even be aware of it, because so many people aren't aware of this at the moment. So not only is it an honour to be aware of it, but to have the opportunity to become involved in it, and the pleasure of experiencing it. It's yeah, it's absolutely amazing to be part of this. Really is amazing. Too small a word, isn't it? Amazing. We need a
Mhm.
bigger word. We need a bigger word. Maybe that bigger word is humana.
I would love to see Humana considered as a personal development tool outside of the spiritual community. I would love to see this as a tool that is available for everyone, and not
Yes.
just seen as a spiritual advancement tool, because it truly is personal evolution. Part of the community who would benefit so fantastically from this tool, and then what they would be doing to contribute to society on a whole new level. So, personally, that's one of my major goals. We've come to the conclusion of episode 2 of the Umana Experience podcast. It's been an incredibly insightful, valuable, and wonderful discussion with you, Anne. I can't wait to hear more as your Umana journey unfolds. It's truly been a pleasure having you on the show today. And to our listeners, thank you for tuning in. I look forward to joining you all again for episode 3.